Hi everyone! Thanks so much for tuning in once again. I believe this is our 7th nightly concert that we've done so far during this quarantine, and we plan on continuing it every night as long as this thing is going on. Thanks so much for being here again. We're Laura Dubin and Antonio Guerrero, as of course you know, and we're so delighted to be able to share our music with you through the internet during this time when we can't see each other in person. We appreciate you being here. If you're watching this, please leave a comment and say hello. And feel free to let us know where you're watching this from. We love to know how far our music is reaching, whether it is elsewhere in Rochester or another city or the other side of the country or world. No matter where you are, we thank you for tuning in. And we'd like to start with a composition by Irving Berlin called Let Yourself Go. And this is our own arrangement that was released on our second album called Laura Dubin Plays the Great American Songbook. And I first heard this song in a Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers movie called Follow the Fleet, where they did a wonderful song and dance number. Of course, Fred and Ginger are one of the greatest dance teams of all time, and their dance sequence to this number was just so memorable. So this is our arrangement of Let Yourself Go.
Can you turn off the speaker?
Yeah.
Thank you.
tune by Irving Berlin called Let Yourself Go, and that's just so much fun to play. The arrangement was kind of inspired by the way that Fred and Ginger danced in the movie Follow the Fleet, because the tempo changes many times, of course, to accommodate their dancing. It speeds up. There's parts that get dramatically slower and then faster again, and that kind of inspired me to write this arrangement. Thank you so much for being here. I've been making this announcement every night for the past few nights. If you're enjoying the music tonight, please feel free to go over to lauradubin.com. There's a link right in the video here, and you can either make a donation of any amount you'd like. There are several suggested amounts to choose from, but you can adjust it to whatever you'd like. Or you can order all of our albums as digital downloads right on the same page. We really appreciate your support during this time. As you know, since we can't gather in large groups anymore, and since venues are closing, live performance opportunities for musicians are pretty much gone for the time being. So we're really grateful to be able to keep sharing our music with you through the internet, and we would appreciate your support if you can. If you're unable to make a donation at this time, we still really appreciate you being here, and your support just means the world to us, even if you're unable to donate, but you're watching our videos and tuning in every night. We just really appreciate you being there with us during this time, and we're so grateful to still have an audience to share our music with. And I'd like to take a minute to thank everybody who donated so far this week. Many people have already made donations and downloaded our albums. And just to respect people's privacy, I won't mention any names right now, but I just want to let you all know that we really appreciate your support. Thank you so very much. Next, we'd like to play a beautiful tune by the legendary pianist Herbie Hancock. And not only do I love this tune because it's just so beautiful, it's got really interesting harmonies. It just makes me see all these kind of different colors when I play it. But it's also about one of my favorite animals. This is called Dolphin Dance.
The mic is off? Yeah. Yep.
Dolphin Dance by the great pianist and composer Herbie Hancock. I just love playing that piece so much. That actually is one of the first jazz tunes I ever learned when I first began taking piano lessons, but of course I couldn't play it then like I can now, and everything that we always play is always a work in progress, because there really wouldn't be much point in being a musician if you were just done every time you felt like you had learned a tune. There's always more to do with it, and that's actually one of the greatest things about jazz, especially because you can really personalize everything and make it your own. There's always just more to discover as life goes on, and you get more comfortable playing each tune. You find new ideas to put into it. This is an arrangement that actually also comes from our album Laura Dubin Plays the Great American Songbook. You can also hear it on our Live at the Rochester Jazz Festival album, which we released the following year in 2016. The songbook album is from 2015. And this is an arrangement that I did maybe, 8-9 years ago, and we just love playing this one. It's kind of a modern jazz twist on My Favorite Things by Rodgers and Hammerstein. And of course, as many of you know, The Sound of Music is my absolute favorite movie of all time. But our version sounds much different than the one in the movie, because instead of trying to copy that version, we decided to put our own twist on it. So we hope you enjoy, and also hope you enjoy the clever pictures on the wall. If you're thinking of the song lyrics, you'll understand all the photos as you take a look. That was our arrangement of My Favorite Things by Rodgers and Hammerstein, which of course comes from the classic musical, The Sound of Music. We'd like to play one of my original compositions next, and it's got a really funny story behind it. Some of you might know it already if you've heard us play this at our live performances, but for those of you who have not heard it, I'm gonna tell it now. So this tune is called Boustrophédon. It's spelled Boustrophédon. My gosh, that's a mouthful. And I had never heard that word before until maybe 2 years ago. I was sending a text message. I was trying to type something, and somehow my phone's autocorrect changed whatever I was typing to that word. And I was like, what is that? I just laughed so hard. I'd never seen that word in my life. And I thought it was so funny that of all things, my phone changed whatever I was typing to that. So I thought, I have to find out what that means. So I Googled it. Yay, internet, again. And I discovered it's a style of ancient Greek writing in which the letters go from left to right. I'm going like this because I know in the camera this looks like left to right, even though this is my right side. I know what's right and left. So this text goes from left to right, and then it turns around and goes from right to left, and the letters are backwards. And apparently the word Boustrophédon comes from some terms about cows turning in a field, like the way that people would use their cows to plow these fields. I guess farmers use them, and the cows would go down rows in the dirt and then turn and go back and forth like that. So apparently that's where the word comes from. And I thought, wow, it's so interesting. I need to write a tune about that. And so what I did was I composed a tune in which the melody on the piano starts in the lower part of the piano and goes all the way up and then back down again, and then up and then down. And I thought it was going to be kind of an easy tune to write with that guideline, but it turned out to be kind of a challenge. That was when I realized how often a melody kind of turns, as it's going on. So it was really fun to write this tune, and it is a contrafact, meaning that I used the chords of another jazz tune with my own melody, and it's a contrafact of the Charlie Parker tune Confirmation. So I hope you enjoy Boustrophédon. Sorry, I got too close to the mic.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Just.
That was an original composition of mine called Boustrophodon. If you're just tuning in, Boustrophodon is an ancient Greek style of writing in which the letters go from left to right, like we know today, and then they turn around and go from right to left, and the letters are backwards. I'm not sure if the camera is showing that right now, but that's an example of it. We'd like to play another original next, and this one is dedicated to one of my personal heroine, I should say, the great Marian McPartland. Not only is she a huge inspiration to me as a pianist, she was just a wonderful, wonderful jazz pianist with a very personal style that she kind of made her own. She soaked up the styles of so many of her influences, like Duke Ellington, Oscar Peterson, the list goes on, just to name a few, and she really made a style her own. But she also was probably one of the greatest proponents of jazz education that we've ever had, and most notably with her radio program called Piano Jazz, which she hosted on NPR for several decades. And if you're looking for something else to do during these next few weeks while you're quarantined, if you go to the NPR website, hundreds of the episodes of Piano Jazz are archived there. And it's just like the greatest music lesson you'll ever have. She interviewed countless jazz pianists and jazz musicians who played other instruments as well. And she would interview them, they would play duets together, and they would each play solos. It's just, listening to those shows growing up was such a great education for me. And so that's just been a really big part of my life. And I read a biography of Marian McPartland several years ago, and it just touched me so much to learn even more stories about her that I didn't know. And I was just more inspired by her than ever before. And that was when I wrote this composition called Dear Marian.
We're gonna see later the comments, or?
Yep, at the end, yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna see that one more time after this tune. was an original composition of mine dedicated to Marion McPartland, and that's called Dear Marion. We've got one more tune to play for you tonight, but just to let you know, if you'd like to leave a comment and say hello, if you haven't already, I'm going to take just a few minutes after we finish playing just to read through the comments and say hello to you guys in real time. So feel free to leave a comment, let us know where you're listening from, and if you've got a picture in your phone or on your computer that makes you happy, something that brings you joy, peace, or hope during this time, feel free to leave it in a comment here and we can actually use it in one of our live videos this week. I'm starting to collect some happy pictures because I think that's something we all need right now during this time. So thank you so much once again for tuning in. We're doing these live concerts every night around 8 or 9 p.m. So we hope you'll continue to watch. And feel free to like my Facebook music page, Laura Dubin Jazz. If you're watching this on my personal Facebook page but you haven't liked my music page yet, please go ahead and do that after this video ends because then you'll be notified whenever we do go live. And it's easier to stay in touch that way. So just to reiterate once again, and for those of you who missed the beginning of this, if you're enjoying the music tonight and you'd like to show your support by making a donation, you can click on the link to my website, which is right in this video at the top of the screen. You can either make a donation of any amount you'd like. There are several suggested amounts to choose from, but you can adjust it to your liking. Or you can download our albums right on the same page. We've got 7 albums that we've released, and you can choose from any one of them. We so appreciate your support during this time when live music performances are canceled. Any amount that you're able to contribute is much appreciated, and a huge thank you once again to those of you who have already made a contribution this week. We really appreciate it. And I know this is a hard time for all of us, not just musicians, so if you're unable to make a contribution now, we still really appreciate you watching. It means the world to us to be able to share our music with you, even if we can't do it in person, but we're really happy that you're supporting our music just by listening to these live streams every night. We would like to play one more original composition. This comes from our album Rhapsody, which we released a few years ago. And actually the piece that we just played was on the same album. And this piece is dedicated to our favorite city in the world, Rochester, New York, of course. And this is called Flower City Blues. And right now I'd like to dedicate this to everyone in Rochester who is working to make this city a safer place right now, whether you are a healthcare worker or you work in the grocery stores. I know that grocery store workers are working way extra now to keep everything stocked, or if you're just, if any kind of job that you have that's taking care of the city and taking care of us so that we're all healthy and safe. I know a lot of local businesses are doing curbside service now. We just really appreciate everything you're doing to make Rochester a safe place to live during this time. So we'd like to dedicate this to all of you. Flower City Blues. thank you so much for joining us tonight. That's all for our program tonight, but I'd like to take a few minutes just to hang out with you guys and mingle a little bit, which is actually what we would typically do at a live performance, except now the mingling is going to be through Facebook. So I'm just gonna, I saw some comments pop up while we were playing, so I just would like to say hello to everybody real quick. And I did something different with my phone tonight so that it's not gonna be so complicated. And feel free to say hello right now if you're still watching. Let's see, here we go. Ooh, a lot of people tuned in tonight. Thank you so much. Hey Bob, hey, not sure if you're still watching, but we played Let Yourself Go for you in the beginning. Hopefully you heard that one. Hey Jack, happy belated birthday. We're glad that
home.
Yeah, welcome home. We're really glad that you and Bonnie made it home safely. We've been following your adventures the last couple weeks. We're really happy that you at least got some great animal pictures while you were there. We can't wait to hear about the trip that you did have. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Hey Donna, thank you so much for listening once again. I'm gonna read your message right here because you wrote something really sweet here. Aw, thank you so much. Aw, that means so much to me. She says, Mary McPartland would be proud of you. As variety of music as the spice of life. Aw, thank you so much. I remember that we talked about Mary McPartland a couple times when we were in line for the Jazz Fest. And that's how we met each other, I think, right?
Yeah, I remember,
when we were in line.
Yeah.
Something that we love about the Rochester Jazz Fest, of course, we've had the greatest experience of our lives playing there 3 times. But it's also just like the greatest place to meet people because every time we're waiting in line for a show, we always make new friends standing next to us.
And we just play this party for a couple who met in the
Oh,
you
that's
remember
right,
that?
yes.
That's a nice story.
We recently played for a birthday party for a wonderful lady who we met named Margot. Margot and David are a great couple who they've been supporting our music for a while. I think we maybe met them at the Little Theater or the Jazz Fest. I know we saw them several times, but we played recently for a birthday party that they were hosting, and we learned that they actually met each other in line at the Jazz Fest, and I just think that's like the sweetest story ever.
Yeah.
And I actually think that we might have read about that in the newspaper a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So if any chance Dave and Margot are watching, hey! Let's see. Hey Dave Boyer. Oh, and I just opened my phone and saw that you called too. We'll give you a call later on after this this video ends. Thank you so much for listening once again. We so appreciate it. And we can't wait to talk about doing something here with you over this cool projector screen thing. There's going to be more to come later. But also, let me do something real quick.
It's beautiful
So,
pictures of Rochester,
yeah.
right?
These are all old photos of Rochester here. I'm not sure if Dave is still watching, but if he is, I'm going to reposition this camera just for a second. I'm going to turn this autopilot setting off, because I think you can kind of see one of his pictures behind your head. Oops. Oh, maybe not.
Yeah, it's
kind of hard to tell. Well, it's kind of hard to see in the screen, but if you look over Antonio's head, there's a caricature that Dave Boyer drew of me, and there's another one of Antonio. You can't really see it in the screen, but he drew those caricatures of us on the night that we performed at the Jazz Fest for the first time, and we became instant friends. We've collaborated together several times. He actually did the artwork for our Live at the Rochester Jazz Festival album that year, and it was like really meant to be because we met him that very night at the Jazz Fest. And we just loved his artwork so much. And there have been several times that we performed at the Little Theater Cafe in recent years, and he came and did live caricatures during those performances. So we're gonna try to figure out how to do that here over the internet one of these days. It's gonna be super cool. So Dave, if you're still watching, we'll give you a call right after this. Hey Sue, thanks so much for watching.
Sue.
Yeah,
Sue.
Yep, exactly. Spittoolnik. So I'd like to say something a little bit about Bob and Sue, if you're still watching. They're some of our greatest supporters in Rochester. We've known them for maybe 5 years now. I think they were some of the first people who started following us when we first moved here, and we've really appreciated your support over the years. And Sue is a wonderful author. She wrote a book, I think the book is called Secret Lifelines, that I read a couple years ago. I'm not sure if she's published it yet, but it's a wonderful book.
With the I don't know how it's called, the carpet.
Yeah, exact quilt. Yeah, that was the next thing I was
have
going
that
to
in my
mention.
room.
Yeah.
That's why you cannot see it now.
Sue is also a wonderful quilter. Just her quilts are such works of art. And she gifted us with a beautiful music quilt a couple years ago. I think I actually cried when we opened it. It was just so sweet and thoughtful. And it's been so cozy to use that blanket, and it's also been really useful in our music room as well. So, hi Bob and Sue, thanks so much again for watching. Let's see, did I miss anybody? Let's see. Jack, Bob, Donna. Yeah. See, a couple of you made multiple. Oh, Linda! Hey, Linda! Thank you so much again for watching.
Linda? We miss you, Linda.
I know, we miss seeing you in real life. It's like it's not the same seeing people through the internet.
But I really miss this. Now I feel like a little relief having some.
Yeah, I know.
reaction
We miss like seeing everybody in real life. That's honestly one of our favorite parts of doing actual live performances is seeing all our friends at our performances. We always appreciate your support, and we appreciate your support online now, even though we can't do it in person.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody. Stay tuned. We'll be doing this again tomorrow around the same time, and hope you all stay safe and healthy. And just thank you again for watching. Have a wonderful night.
Bye-bye.
Take care.